corporate social responsibility is something that we talk a lot about, and sometimes it can fall by the wayside, particularly in tough economic times, but many will say that this is actually the most crucial time to help out. Jobs Australia Foundation is currently organising its Indigenous Youth Leadership Program, the Kokoda Trail. Huawei Technology is covering the costs of 5 of the 24 young Indigenous leaders as they take part in this event. And we're joined in the studio today by Peter Cornby, Director of Jobs Australia Foundation, and also by Jeremy Mitchell, Director of Corporate Affairs, Huawei. And gentlemen, thanks for coming on the program to chat about, I guess, the partnerships involved in this kind of thing, and you do see them as business partnerships. Firstly, Peter, would you just take us through this trip to Kokoda and how it's going to work?
Well, it's an exciting process. It's what we're looking to do is take 24 people, 16 young Indigenous leaders and 8 mentors through the whole Kokoda trek. There'll be a leadership program leading up to the trek, which will run in August. So it's like a 6-month program in which young people who are demonstrating signs of leadership within their communities are able to explore what their qualities are and challenge themselves through this whole process. And what we're doing is we're working with organisations like Huawei to engage with them so that these young people can then engage with corporates and look at making careers within those corporations. So the trek, I guess, is a catalyst for discovering what their leadership potential is and how it can be best explored. And
so this 10-day trip on the Kokoda Trail, I shouldn't call it a trip, it sounds too fabulous, doesn't it? It's gruesome and it's really tough, and I guess that's why you've chosen that place.
Absolutely, and it's also about how young Indigenous people from Australia can engage with the Indigenous people of Papua on that trip, and I guess it's about putting back as well. So it's not just about taking out of the Kokoda trek, it's about participating in those communities as they move through and discovering what the challenges are for those young Indigenous people within who live along the Kokoda track.
And what sort of communications involved to the point where Huawei becomes involved in this kind of program? Where was the connection started before that, or how did that get going?
Well, we approached Jobs Australia because we wanted to change the way we were doing corporate social responsibility. I guess like many companies, it's about the financial check and put it off in the mail, you get a little report. But we wanted to do something a little bit different because we are going out to regional communities. We supply telecommunications equipment out to regional Australia, and we've been coming across these communities, and we thought it'd be good to do a partnership, so it wasn't just about sending a cheque or the financial, while very important for these foundations, but it was about putting something that we can actually get a full circle, if you like. For example, the end result would be wonderful if one day we were able to employ an Indigenous person that went on these leadership programs. That would be the full complete circle for us. So as I said, it's about tailoring the sort of needs that we have with also the needs that the foundation like Jobs Australia has to have mutual benefit.
But that would just be almost a bonus if it was to eventuate that they would be employed by the company. But short of that, where do you see the benefit for your company?
Well, I think there's a lot of benefits. In fact, some of the benefits we hadn't even realised. I mean, for example, like staff morale. It's amazing to see the staff's reaction to this announcement. And in fact, already our Papua New Guinea office have been getting volunteers to be there at the end of the track to hand out stuff. Not many people are actually volunteering to go on the track, can I say? But, so we're getting, once again, staff morale. It also shows a commitment, I think, for a company in the sort of communities that they're working in. So it's quite important. But as I said, I think the next step that we're going through is not just about handing over money and sort of getting a report about what that money was spent on, but actually having a partnership. And we sat down with Jobs Australia and sort of said, look, these are the sort of people that we employ. Is there a way that we can sort of help and get maybe help out so that at the end of the day, what greater benefit than actually providing a job?
Yeah, and Peter, this is obviously part of a broader strategy and other programs. What sorts of other programs beyond the Kokoda Trail?
The Jobs Australia Foundation is relatively new. We've been operating only for the last 3 years. The directors have made a decision that for the first 3 to 4 years, our focus will be very much on Indigenous leadership. So we've actually been supporting other organisations in the development of leadership programs. The track, I guess, is our profile track, and what we're wanting to do there is actually to profile what is possible. It's also something that I believe is something that enables us to engage with corporates, and I think, you know, in times like this, when it is really easy to say, from a corporate's point of view, it's time to stick to the knitting, let's not look at you know, the benevolent side of things. It does make enormous sense to be supporting Indigenous leadership, because the greater the leadership that comes through young Indigenous people, the stronger communities will be, and the stronger a community is, the greater the growth in our economy. So we build social strength, and we'll end up with economic strength as well. So from a corporate's point of view, it makes an immense sense to be involved in this. We're really grateful that the relationship we've forged with Huawei is about a long-term relationship, and as Jeremy said, it's not just about delivering a cheque and walking away and putting 3 lines on the bottom of the annual report. This is very much about being involved, taking a long-term view, and we would like to think that the relationship we've forged here will be a long-term one, and any future relationships we form with other corporations will in fact be long-term. It's not, we're not really interested in just taking the money. We'd like to work with the organisations to see what they're really looking for and what we can achieve mutually.
And Jeremy, it does sound like almost an easy message. I mean, everyone would agree with what you're saying. It sounds fabulous, and it is fabulous what you're doing. From a corporate perspective, is it that hard to put into action? I know you have, but sort of as a general sense across the corporate.
Not at all. And what we found, I mean, we went into this a bit blind, in the sense that you know, this is the first time that we'd sat down with a foundation to sort of say, well, these are some of our needs. What are your needs, and how can we marry the two together? But it was very quick. I mean, within sort of 5-10 minutes of that meeting, we realised that we were singing off the same sort of sheet, and it was actually very quick, and the bond came extremely strong. And in fact, we're now going to extend that already. We're supporting this leadership sort of track. We're already later on in the year, we're going to do a university scholarship. So you know, within the first sort of meeting, we had already discussed plans sort of 12 months down the track. And I think by having that sort of relationship, doesn't matter what the economic cycle is, because you're making a commitment which is long-term, it's harder for companies to sort of try and talk their way out of actually that sort of support. So doesn't matter what the economic sort of cycle is. If you've got a 5-year commitment, it's important for you to deliver on that 5-year sort of commitment. So I think it's the way to go. And as I said, for the company, we get so much out of it ourselves.
Yeah, and you mentioned the morale. Is that, are you with the Kokoda trek? Are you kind of updating staff members?
We're going to do that. We're going to actually get some of the participants to come in and talk to staff. So it's, you know, it's really been a morale booster.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. Peter Quamby, thank you very much for your time today, and Jeremy Mitchell, we appreciate you coming in as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we've just got a bit of breaking news to cover as well.